Hello, it's Johnny Now here, aka Mr. Johnny Axel, with the review on The Toxic Avenger. Now, there's going to be a lot to talk about here because the movie is just so freaking crazy. Alright, so the first thing you have to talk about first when you talk about a movie is the plot. Now, is the plot good? The plot, it's strange in the sense that the basic plot is the same because well, actually no, not really. Because what happens is this kid named Melvin, he's kind of the nerdy guy and he works at a health club, and people hate him for no reason, even though all he's doing is he's doing his job. And what they do, they basically push him around, they bully him, and then he starts running down a hallway, and he jumps out, and there just happens to be a whole truck full of nuclear waste there. And he jumps into the nuclear waste, and he starts burning alive, and for some reason they think it's more funny to start laughing at them than help them. So he somehow is able to get up and run away, and he goes back to his home, and he starts his transformation, and it's really weird, but he looks really cool right afterwards. He's the Toxic Avenger. And then he just goes around and he kills people. He kills bad guys in the most gruesome way. Yeah, most gruesome ways possible. Now, the premise of the story, it's actually really gritty. It's kind of dark. And it's just the things that are done. That happens. Sometimes it just made me want to turn the movie off. I mean, the movie itself wasn't bad at all. I personally think that was awesome because it was so B-rate movie film genre, I guess. It was really good and it pulled you in. It was made you wonder what was going to happen next. The part that made me want to turn off the most was when they ran over a kid, and it actually showed the kid getting run over. They showed his head exploding, which, that's all makeup and stuff, but still, and without effort, they ran over him not once, not twice, but 3 times just to make sure, and it was just horrible. But besides that, the movie was actually really well. It was pretty funny, and all that janks. Now, the second thing you have to talk about is the acting. Is the acting good? Well, yes and no. Melvin was good, actually. He's 1984's Napoleon Dynamite, in a sense. They wanted a nerd. He actually was a nerd. He was a fucking nerd. The acting was actually really good. I mean, it was cheesy at times, but, and again, mind you, it's the 80s, and we think everything from the 80s is pretty cheesy, regardless. So, the acting was actually pretty good for its time. Especially in the one part where these 3 guys, they break into a bank. No, not a bank. They break into a restaurant, or whatever. Then there's the one black guy, he's like Samuel L. Jackson with an afro, and he announces what he's going to do, basically. And which is pretty awesome. You got the sadistic white dude who is like the psychos from Borderlands. And then you have just the random guy just following them around and doing whatever, just shooting the cash register. That was, in my opinion, the best part on acting. There's a whole bunch of epic parts. Cigar Face was actually pretty good too. Remind me of Sergeant from Halo. His name is just escaping me. But yeah, in terms of superhero and stuff, it's the grittiest superhero movie I've seen so far. If you think Batman is gritty, just wait till you see this, because it's, well, I wouldn't say gritty, actually, I'd say gory. It is definitely the most adult superhero flick that I've seen. I've only seen the first one, haven't seen all 4 yet, but I want to, because this one actually may be good. Now the action's really good in it too, surprisingly. I mean, yeah, the gore could have been tuned down just a little bit because, not that much gore flies off. But besides that, it was really good. The effects were astonishingly really great, especially for its time, and good makeup. What I don't get is when Melvin changes to the Toxic Avenger, his voice sounds like the Hulk, which it's supposed to. It's growling, but for some reason, when he talks, I know he basically talks like telepathically to people, which is fine and is great, but he doesn't speak in his normal voice. And I can see why they did that, because his voice was starting to get annoying by the time they actually did change. But it was such a dramatic change that I was like, what the hell? This is like an English dubbed Godzilla. And if they meant to do that, now it's funny as hell. But if they didn't, then... But the thing is, the thing that separates this movie from the others, the crimes that were committed are feasible crimes. They can actually happen. You know, people getting raped, people robbing restaurants in realistic manners rather than having a SWAT team or something go out. People getting corrupt, people actually running people over and enjoying it, people doing steroids and stuff. These were all realistic crimes. And that's what I liked about it. It was more, it hit towards home in a sense, and then you got the person who took care of him. The funny thing was, I don't know why, but halfway throughout the movie, it showed him doing minuscule stuff, which, again, I can see why they did that, but then again, it sort of made him seem like they were trying to get him to seem like the average everyday hero as well, but there was one scene in that montage in which she was trying to open up a jar. Now, this woman was trying to open up a jar. He's not even in the house. He's right outside the window. He just like swoops. He just randomly like walks by and is like, "Here, let me open that for you." Reaches inside of her house, opens the jar, and hands it back. And they see all smiley face instead of like, "Why are you reaching inside my house?" But besides those minuscule things, I actually do think it's a really great movie. It's really funny. Most of the jokes are a hit, and most of the sourness that you're supposed to feel towards all of these villains that he's defeating are completely removed. So, it did good. It did done good, kid. But it's a great, cool classic. I can kind of see why it didn't get a lot of recognition, kind of like Troll 2, you know, or The Room for that matter. If it was serious, then I would definitely treat it the same way. But I think that this one was meant to have the satirical attire that it has, especially since the 1985 Laserdisc version stars the person who made the comics. I forget his name. He was also in the new AVGN game review of the Toxic Crusaders. But it shows him and the Toxic Avengers smoking crack together, so I kind of get that it was supposed to be satirical, in a sense, at least with the intro, which could have helped. But if that wasn't there, then I probably would have been confused or laughing my ass off like I did, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So I'll give this movie, Toxic Avenger, definitely an 8 out of 10. So, see you guys next week.